Well, welcome to another episode, Let the Truth Be Told. My name is Sean Williams, and I'm sitting here right with my good friend, my buddy Hub, and we are coming to you live once again. We thought we'd get in here and start another program and get this program going for you. Very excited today to be able to just share with you. We ran the last segment and the last program. We ran that for maybe a couple weeks, few weeks. Got a lot of great response on that program, man. Man, keep on cheering us on. Keep on giving us the thumbs up when we run into you, man, because that really inspires us to just get back into the studio again and tape another program. Thank the Lord for UPTV and all you guys over here that support us, that's behind the scenes, that produce this program. I thank the Lord for my brother Hub,
yes,
wealth of knowledge to me.
Sir.
I thank you for your friendmanship,
yes,
and being in my corner, my my rock that I can bounce things back to,
yes,
man. We're like-minded in a lot
yes,
of ways, so I thank the Lord for you. We're coming to you, but we want to introduce my brother Hub to this listening audience, and you give him some nuggets.
Yeah, Good Friday, Good Friday. It's a good Friday. Good day to be alive. Somebody woke up dead.
Yeah.
I just want to be real quick. Our last show, we talked about Father Flager.
Yes.
The midnight hour.
Okay.
And man, we really usually let our shows go 3 or 4 times.
Yeah.
But because we in the midnight hour and it's showing up in our schools, we only let it run twice.
Okay. Right.
But let the record reflect. We're in the midnight hour.
Oh, definitely.
We're in the midnight
definitely.
hour.
My brother Hub, because time goes fast when you're having fun.
Yes, sir.
So we're going to get right into
Right
it.
on
We're going
into
to get
it.
right into it. Yeah. So just kind of giving the viewing audience the backdrop. On this past week, I think that was Monday. Mm-hmm. That was Monday. Mm-hmm. I got a text message, an email, and then I got something hit me on Facebook when I was scrolling through of a video of a fight that was going on at Urbana High School. Mm-hmm. And so what my response back to it, I'm looking through it and I'm checking things out, and then I got home and it hit the 12 o'clock news. I think it was like the 12 or maybe afternoon news.
Hit my phone.
That was some stuff that was going on with the fight. And it wasn't just an average fight. Mm-hmm. It wasn't just 1 or 2 people. Mm-hmm. It was multiple people fighting, and that caused the school to shut down. School shut down a little bit early. I found out some more details after attending school board meeting, how that kind of played out. But it was horrific in what was going on. I know that you're a coach over there. You kind of give me some insight, give our viewing audience an insight of what was going on.
It's amazing, and I wasn't really going to say this, but it's amazing because I went to practice and I asked questions.
Yeah.
Because one of the things as an educator is you got to ask the kids. In the Army, the general didn't come talk to our sergeant, to the sergeants, or the colonel. He want to ask the private because the private ain't got good enough sense to lie. The private go tell, I saw everything, and the sergeant didn't do this, and the lieutenant was cussing. They're going to tell everything. And so I go, and you know what? Ironically, I asked the kid questions to the kid yesterday after basketball practice. I asked one of the kids, was the magnitude really that great as what's going around all on the local outlets? They talking about it all over the state of Illinois. He said, no. He said it really wasn't as big. He said the only reason that it was magnified because the teacher got hurt. That's what a student told me. Now, I'm not putting out there as the truth. So all Hub said, no. I asked one of the students who I got a lot of respect for, and that's what the kid told me. He said if the teacher wouldn't have got hurt, it wouldn't have been that big because they fight like that.
Well, in the video that I seen where in the video that I seen was a live video that was being shoot Facebook Live, and it showed some kids fighting, multiple kids fighting, folks jumping in, and then I seen where it was an SRO officer that was full-time, that was doing duty. He was trying to get his gear together.
Right.
He was getting his gear together to jump in,
while
another hall monitor was trying to grab.
One of the coaches making it happen.
Was in the mix. Jumped right in the mix.
Yeah.
And then he was trying to wrestle and trying to break folks up. And then this teacher, I understand, a very popular teacher, science teacher,
who loves the kids.
Who loves kids.
Loves the kids. I mean, so many people who went to school 10, 15 years ago, they was upset. One of our local, local politicians went on Facebook. I'm not going to put him out there, but it's on Facebook. It ain't that hard to find. But he was really upset because this teacher impacted his life. And that's the reason she jumped in there. Now, in my opinion, she should let the Thundercats handle it, cause but that ain't who she is. My mama would have jumped in.
But
you see what I'm saying?
It's what. It's that mother
it's
nurturing,
that DNA,
that nurturing that came out at a heartbeat, knee-jerk reaction. Is to go in there and say, kids, stop it. And like it was her kids to just say, stop it.
Say that again.
It's like her kids.
Oh man, we're gonna talk. Y'all heard what he said. We're gonna talk about that a little bit later. So, he said she treated them like they was her kids.
It was her kids.
Hold that thought.
And so she wanted to jump in and say, hey, oh look, you guys stop that. It ain't that serious. And during the melee, she got knocked down, head bumped the locker, and was knocked unconscious. That was real unfortunate. And so just the whole backdrop, that sent me into a flurry. I went to Urbana High School. I graduated from Urbana High School, and so.
Class of what?
Class of 1987.
87. I'm 82.
And I'm still proud to say that.
Yes, sir.
I have my own hurts, habits, stuff that went on at Urbana High School.
Yes, sir.
And we're going to talk about that.
Yes, sir.
But I'm proud to say I'm from Urbana High School in 1987. And so it startled me. So I wanted to get more in depth to find out more details. Because a lot of us will just hear a little bit of something. And then take that and run with it without finding out the details. So I wanted to go get it from the horse. Find out what's exactly, put my finger on the pulse. And see what's going on. And not just get it second and third and fourth and 15th hand. I want to be able to see actually what was going on. And so in finding out what was going on, I went to a school board meeting. On Tuesday night, they had a school board meeting at 7 o'clock in Urbana. I went to that school board meeting, was able to see some of the parents, some of the grandparents, people that were directly affected, see some of the students, see the administrators. But before that even happened.
I was just going to correct you.
Before that even happened.
You went and saw the pulse right there.
That even happened.
Boots on ground.
Before that even happened, I had to go check the boots on the ground. Because I had to go over there and see. Put my eyes on the school. I had to reflect back, and I had to check.
And you hadn't been over there in a while.
I had to check on this midnight hour that was going on. I had to look at things, do my own assessment, because like you said, once you sit up and you talk to these young folks, they're going to tell you what's going on. Once you talk, and then with the relationships that we've already developed in the community, when we see some of these teachers, some of these deans, some of these hall monitors, we got a relationship with them, they going to tell us what's going on. So I'm getting it all perspectives. I'm getting all perspectives, and I'm evaluating the whole situation. And so once I got over there, I was able to get into the system, kind of talk to the folk, kind of see what was going on, which in turn made me come to the school board meeting. And I was able to go to a school board meeting. I went to that school board meeting and was able to assess things. Kind of found out, the dynamics, listening to some of the kids and some of the other things that was going on and what their opinions were. And so I had already went home, sat in the lab, already came up with something off the assessment that I seen, because I wanted to be able to bring whatever I could to the situation to let the administrators and everybody else understand my perspective. And what my challenges was at Urbana High School, which might fit some of the situation of what's going on with some of these kids. And so as I did that, but you chime in and what was your?
I really wanted to be with you, but I was on my way to school, and I really thought about missing school, but I'm in the building 3 or 4 times a week, and what a lot of people don't know, that we had an incident while we was at practice, and I had to go out there and tell some folks to move around, about 10 people. And that was a week prior. That was after school. And so I'm not going to get too deep into it, but I had to make some stuff happen. And so my New Year's resolution was to start subbing on my off days from school at Urbana High School and the middle school. And so I did go pay to get my sub license, but I had to reapply, like go online or uniform, and I haven't did that yet. So I was kind of really wanting to get over there, because like, man, I could have been in the building. I would have wanted to be in the building, because that's what I do. That's our influence. I look for problems and put them out. That's how we roll. And so I really wanted to be with you and support what you, because it was on your heart. But I wasn't able to. I got a lot of information, and so it's unfortunate. But as an educator, I got a whole nother way of looking at it. And as we get into it, I'll share. But as an educator, I don't look at it the way that everybody else looking at it.
Okay.
And unfortunately, some of our educators don't look at it the way they supposed to.
Okay.
They could talk their head out, but I'm in the book. I'm in class right now. I'm in my master's. I'm reading what they saying you're supposed to do. And I'm just give you a hint of it. You already said it, right? Here, I'm going to class and learn this, but you already said the lady, she was looking at them kids like them was her kids. And the last person, as an educator, as a teacher, the last person you're supposed to blame is the student.
Right, right. And so for me, just looking at it, it's been quite a while since I've been in school, you know, and I deal with a lot of issues going on in Champaign. And so dealing with young folks in Champaign, because the dynamics changed throughout the community.
Right.
You know, I understood maybe 20 years ago that affordable housing was playing out in Champaign. I even talked to some of the politicians about it as it was going on.
Yeah.
So a lot of people, a lot of families got forced over to Urbana. That's the first thing where the problem is, that they don't understand that it's just happening on their watch, and they don't understand where why these issues coming at.
Right.
Well, Champaign knew that they had issues, and the first thing that folks try to do when they got issues is they try to shift the problem. And so now the problem's been shifted into Urbana, so that now it's on their watch, and they got to handle these issues that's going on. And what they're saying, a lot of the people that's in charge were saying, we need to shift this issue.
Right.
So folks are what the response is, man, expel these kids, man. Right. Kick them out of school.
Now let me read one of my slides. Let me see, my test was Tuesday. So this was Monday night around 10:30. And I'm she said, you gotta have all your slides, make sure you know what's on the slide. So I run across this slide that says paradigm shift. Shift the view of the problem, not within the child. Problem is due to breakdown. This is my master's in special education. This ain't Hub talking. This is what they teaching me at Eastern Illinois. Problem is due to breakdown in teaching and learning interaction. Think differently about special education and general education. Away from the category of thinking to solving the problem of students. From placement, orientation to teaching. You said a lot of those words. You even talked about them. And so you got to have the title of it was a paradigm shift. And it reminds me of in the Bible when they was fishing all night long and didn't catch nothing. And they said, Master, we've been fishing all night long. We know you the master, you know, but we know fishing. And we've been fishing all night long, Jesus, and we ain't caught nothing. Jesus told them, cast your nets to the other side. What Jesus really was telling them in 2019 is to have a paradigm shift. You're looking at it the wrong way.
Right.
You're blaming the student. The first thing you do when the student fail, if the student fail a test, it's the direct reflection of you the teacher.
So what that shift me to is what you've always told me and taught me is when you're into a managerial role, or you're into a CEO role, or you're into a leadership role, you are responsible for what happens or failed to happen on your watch.
Sean, I followed you around like a little puppy in 2008 when I got here, but I didn't say nothing because I didn't know all the, and we was in, that was when Culver and all them, all the heads around the table. But after the meeting, I told you, Sean, these leaders sleep at the wheel, man.
Yeah.
They letting this stuff happen on their watch. Now this was 10 years ago, Will. And we still ain't where we should be. We might be even worse. Because we don't take ownership. That's why my not-for-profit is called Not On My Watch.
Right.
Because we got to take everybody, that ain't Hub. Everybody say, we can't let them sell dope on this corner. You know they selling dope on your house, on your corner. You can't let that happen on your watch.
Right.
Because it might reflect you. If they shooting over here and you know they shooting, you can't let that happen on your watch.
So let me give you kind of where I'm at on here.
Okay.
A lot of times we're trying to put the blame in some areas.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So when we're at school board's responsible for what's happening at the schools over at Urbana, you know, or Champaign school board responsible for that, you know. But we're a bigger component than that.
Yes.
You know, we have a whole bunch of different working parts. You know, whether it's churches, whether it's parenting, whether it's city leaders, whether it's police department, all these working parts.
Yes.
what I've determined for our whole society as a whole, whether it's nationwide, is that we all should get an F for what we're producing. Because what I see, you know, whether it doesn't make a difference what race it is. What I see as far as the people that we're producing are producing not the quality of lives that we will determine as productive citizens.
Yes.
And so when I'm listening to 1400 and I'm listening to the folks from rural Champaign County and they're addressing this issue as far as schools and their perspectives, you know, if I'm listening to them, you know, talk about, you know, nobody should be fighting in the schools, and if they're acting like that and this and that, you know, they ought to be expelled. Well, what my thought is, and I'm gonna get into when I attended Urbana High School, I'm gonna get into that, but when you look at when you throw folks to the curb and you throw folks to the wolves, you throw them to the streets, what you've been doing that for decades. You've been kicking the ball down the road for decades, not addressing certain issues. And so when I look at it and I talk to you about it, you know, you put the grandmama in some form already. You put the mama in some form already, or the daddy in some form of holding tank ready program where you're just getting funded. Just a warm seat in the body so you can check off and get that money. You know, you've been doing that for years, but you have not given them the substance in life. Now I understand. I dealt with some of the people that's over there. The respect level at these schools and respect level in these streets, man, it's at an all-time low, man. It's at an all-time low. I'm not gonna say it ain't the kids.
Right. No.
I'm not gonna say what it ain't. What I'm gonna say just what it is. Man, dealing with some of these kids is rough, man.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, the way the flip of the mouth, the young ladies, the way they talking to some of these ladies that's placed in here to help them, man. I mean, they
cuss my mama out.
Come on, man.
They cuss my
and that's a senior. And that's a senior.
Yeah, they at the middle school.
That's a senior.
Let me say this.
They don't care what age you are. You know what position you hold. Or any of that type of stuff.
Why? Let me ask you this question. Why are they cussing? Why are they fighting? Why are they truant? Why? What would you say? Why?
I would say because of. I would say my first thoughts on that. Why they is because somewhere down the road somebody dropped the ball throughout this society that we're developing, this community that we're developing. As far as first. Train up a child in the way they should go.
Come on, preacher.
Train up a child in the way they should go. Whether that was at the schools, whether that was at the home front, whether that was attending a church.
Right.
And I wrote down some things about discipline.
You got some heavy stuff on there.
Oh yeah.
So we got to move on. But let me say this, and then you could just take off because I want to make sure you cover your intent. I had a kid when I was teaching in Rand 2, and teacher got ready to do all the tests and he was clowning. He wanted out of there. That's why he was clowning in class. He wanted out of there. He knew he couldn't read, you know. I heard Martell say something about that earlier on. But my point is, the reason they fighting, the reason they clowning, the reason they chewing is because the wilderness is crying out for a voice. Now that's how I look at that from an educator. And if the truth be told, me and you, I've been saying this for 10 years. I've been saying we need our own school for 10 years. Let me read this and then you can take off. This is a direct quote from Preston Williams in the newspaper. And let me say this so nobody won't take it. I totally agree with this quote. He said, we do not throw our kids away. And in parentheses, it's got their success. Their success may not be in our high school, but that doesn't mean we are throwing them away. Now, let me tell you why that was so powerful for me. Because the first thing I think about is, you're right. But I don't want to send them to Ready. I want to send them to Not On My Watch Academy. Give us all the ones that you can't handle. Don't let some of the professors and some of the wealthy people have to take their kids out of Urbana because they scared that these few cute kids, probably less than 3%, are going to put their kids in danger. Give us them kids. Let us take them kids. We equip. I just left meeting with a principal, and it's 11 young ladies that's clowning, and some about to jump off like it is, and it ain't at a banner. But they said, Mr. Burnett, we need you to talk to them. My first question was, they in the LDA? Oh, no, they're not in there. Oh, okay, so you want me to talk to some other kids that ain't in the LDA. I'll do that. I ain't got no problem with that. But they sharp enough to realize this dude relate with them.
Yeah, and so
let me finish. Let me finish. And so the charter school thing that we did, I ain't knocking nobody. It wasn't a good look. The Unit 4 decided that wasn't a good look. But let me tell you something. The reason I'm driving up and down 57 next semester, it'll be 4 days a week. I got to be there at 7:30 in the morning until 1 o'clock. I'm not driving up to be no teacher. I'm not getting no master's in special education to be no teacher. We gonna have a school. And the quicker y'all, and I ain't got to run it. But we need some people to run it who ain't trying to come up, who ain't trying to make a name. People like Don Owen, people like Preston Williams, who done made their mark, who done already left a legacy, and they ain't got nothing to prove. People like Dolores Henry and her husband, Dr. Underwood, those people are already made. We need all that to change this. So this can't be about taking dollars from 160. I've been saying it for 10 years, but it's getting close now. Because number one, folks are worried.
Right.
And I'm going to say this and I'm done. The same way I always talk about University, Illinois can't allow for all this shooting to go on because I was in the Uber car taking some heavyweights to the homecoming game, and they were talking about some Asians from China saying they only wanted to live in 2 areas because of violence. And so y'all got to come see. You're going to have to come to the rooster sooner or later. You got to, because it's out of control. And let me tell you something. The United States Army, I know a school right now that's probably got about 40% African Americans in the building, and they don't even have an African American teacher. In the Army, we would shut that unit down, because we got a thing called supply and demand in S1, which is administration. And if you got 40% soldiers that are Hispanic, then you got to have 40% in the leadership, right? And it's plus or minus 5%. If it's more than 5%, somebody finna get on a plane. Somebody finna leave and somebody finna come. And so we in the midnight hour.
I got you.
They not gonna be able to bury their head in the sand for too much longer. It's gonna get even more crazy around.
And you know, my brother Hub, he deals with kids all the time, and I could feel his passion for kids and understanding exactly what they need, because anytime you got kids getting up at 6 o'clock in the morning, showing up at 6 o'clock in the morning, and ain't nobody making them show up at 6 o'clock in the morning, you're definitely offering something, and they're definitely needing something. And so you meeting a need. I also talk about the discipline, and I'll go right back and roll back because you covered a lot of ground real fast. The discipline, and the Bible talks about whoever spares the rod hates the son. That's exactly hates the son. Hates the son. And then it says, do not hold discipline from the child. If you strike the rod, he won't die. He won't die. Okay, but I just seen in the paper where somebody spanked their kid with the belt and went to jail. Okay, so now we got a twofold situation. Now on one hand, y'all saying the kids out of control, and then when you got folks that trying to catch their kids,
that's powerful.
You're throwing them into the jailhouse. Where do you want them to go? Yeah. Do you want them to have some discipline?
Right.
So when they go to school, they act accordingly?
Yes, sir.
Or do you want them to just be out of control and run over the parents?
Yes, sir.
So what we got to do, we got to come into a middle medium.
Yes, sir.
Because if that rule didn't work, then we need to revisit the rule, because most of these parents ain't whooping their kids trying to kill them.
Right.
They're trying to discipline so they walk up and stand up right and be respectful and not disrespectful and not knock a teacher out over there at Banner High School or any other school. But and when we come with that, Brother Hub, I got to come from the perspective of when I was in school. And so when I went to the school board, I wanted to let them know that, because when I see some of these kids, I see them in me. I see them in me.
Yes, sir.
And so and so when I see some of these kids, I see them in me. You know, and when we talk about U of I, we talk about athletes, we talk about all those different things. I told you an analogy the other day with the University of Illinois and they athletes, because I was listening to 1400 and an older Caucasian lady said, "Man, you guys y'all were talking about the win that Illinois did the other day against one of the top teams in the country, and it was 20,000 folks there. But where's those 20,000 at when it comes to the crisis that's going on within the community? Where are the people at? Where are the organizations at? Where are the folks at? We got a crisis going on in our community." And we've been yelling and ringing the bell saying crisis for a long time. I mean, Danville's up to 21 shootings for this year. This is February the 6th, 7th. 21 shootings. 21 shootings. Some of those been murders. I think it was a double murder.
They want to put Leroy in jail, but they say, "Way to go, Frazier! Way to go, Illinois! You're the man!"
We got.
They want to put Leroy in jail.
We got 21 shootings over here in Champaign as of right now. Just at a meeting last night, 21 shootings, and I think it was been a murder, and we done had a lot of people hit with gunshots, with gunfire, bullets. And so we're at a midnight crisis era, and so I understand that. That's why I'm at the meetings.
Yes, sir.
But when I went to the school board meeting, I could count on my hand how many African-American families was there supporting or talking about or addressing any of this. I can count on my hand how many leaders, African-American leaders, was there to find out even on-hand information so you can regurgitate it back to your organization, your congregation, your kids, your other parents, your nephews, your cousins, your aunties. So when our kids are doing this type of behavior, where are you at? And then I listened to something else before I get into this here. I listened to something else in the beginning of that school board meeting. It intrigued me because they gave out some awards. Sam Cooke was played, you know, change is gonna come and all this and that. And I'm listening to that. Okay, great song. It was appropriate. And so I'm looking at the kids, and it was one sister, you know, went up there and got her award. About 10 other kids, different races, went up there and got their awards, you know, for something that they did. Then they talked about this contest that they participated in, something really good, you know, some type of upper scale level of kids, you know, that's doing some just average things, but that's taught in the schools about urban development. That's us. Talked about aggregation, talked about what planning departments do. And they had to come up with a design of what a futuristic community looked like, a downtown area. So they went to the contest. The contest was at an all-black school in Chicago. Whitney Young is where President Michelle Obama's wife is, President Barack Obama's wife, Michelle Obama's, that's her school.
She might as well run. She got my vote.
You know what I'm saying?
She might as well
and
run.
So that's
Bring
her school.
Carol Emmons on the team with a go run, Michelle. Bring Carol with you.
The kids from Urbana didn't win, but what messed me up, it was no black kids involved. It was no black kids involved.
Can I give a commercial? Just a commercial real quick. About 6 months ago or more, I sat right in this chair, and you sat right in that chair. And I said, man, pray. We got to pray for Don Owens, because everybody ain't celebrating him trying to really help for real. And what lets me know that this is strategic, but it's going to backfire on him, Sean, because it's going to hurt the U of I, and it's going to hurt our community. Y'all trying to keep us from having a school. A charter school it's already backfiring. Dr. Willams, who did 20 or 30 years in education, understands that, man, Urbana High ain't for everybody. Just because we telling them this ain't the place for them, don't mean we throw them away. And so, but I'm not trying to send them to Ready. Let me tell you something real quick. When I first moved here, my head basketball coach from Texas, Jim Forbes, who was in the '72 Olympics, played for Don Hasson's Glory Road, called me and said, man, do you know ISS? You was running by yourself and they need 3 people. They had to hire 3 people to run ISS. You know why? Because it was in that building. But I was running it by myself. And so we just move a different way with the kids. Y'all might say, hey, stop it. We're going to say, Johnny, move around. And guess what Johnny going to do? Johnny going to move around.
Well, you have to develop that type of relationship with them kids from the beginning.
But if you don't have a paradigm shift, going back to what I said, if you don't change your net where Jesus told you, you're not going to have that relationship with them. You ain't going to catch no fish.
Well, I mean, and everything, and you ain't going to be able to get on everybody textbook. You know what I'm saying? Everybody ain't going to be textbook. You know, you going to school right now, but every situation ain't going to be, when you start out with a business, everything ain't going to be like the business plan.
No, sir.
You have to deviate from the business plan.
Because all that stuff you doing with the funeral home, other people don't do.
And you have to adjust that along the way.
All them choirs and all that.
You got to adjust that along the way because everybody ain't the same.
Yes, sir.
And so, you know, one of the things that I read at it'll give us more meat and potatoes is that I read at the school board meeting because this is what happened to me. This is my story, and this is what happened.
Personal.
This is personal.
This
for
ain't
me.
nothing out the Bible.
No, this ain't
nothing nobody told you.
This is something from me.
Okay.
And it's something that I see because a lot of times we talk about history and all that. I can tell you really what my history was and what I went through at Urbana, and then what go on. And a lot of my siblings don't really like me to talk about this because it's painful. See, a lot of times, a lot of stuff that's going on in our lives, we don't like to deal with it because it hurt, man. But if we really believe in what we say we believe in, I believe in the words and I believe in acting out the words and what we go to church every Sunday. And the Bible talks about we overcome by our testimony. That means that I help you by what I went through.
Yes, sir.
You help me by what you went through.
Yes, sir.
And that's where that love come in at because we overcome our hurt so we can share that love.
Yes, sir.
Because we don't want to see you make the mistake. And so when we come to it with real love, see, love is going to be the one that's going to sustain us throughout it all.
Yes, sir.
Because I don't want to see you in prison. I don't want to see you laid out in front of a church.
Please let me say this real quick. This is a conversation we had before practice tomorrow. We got a couple of kids that got a D. Well, Illinois High School Association saying you can have all D's and one F and still play. But the rules, according to Verdell Jones Jr., for our basketball team, no D's. Because how you going to go to college and play basketball with D's and F's? And so he was explaining to the kids, the reason I'm doing, it's almost like when my mom was whooping me, telling me I'm whooping you because I love you, and you heard it to that. But sometimes the kids, all they want to do is play. But what the beautiful thing was when they looked Coach V right in the eye and said, we understand. We understand that even though it's hurt, because I got to sit this game out, it's for my best interest. Because we don't want to be pimps. So we don't want to just use you to put the ball in the hole, and then after you graduate, you can't go nowhere because your grades jacked up.
So let me use that analogy through athletics to bounce back to where we was at.
Yes, sir.
So when I was talking about the lady from 1400, talking about the athletes from the University of Illinois, and you talk about the athletes at Urbana or wherever school they're from, all of these kids come from the same dynamics and the same background.
Yes, sir.
It's nothing different.
Yes, sir.
We thinking too deep.
Yeah.
It's the same kid.
Yeah.
It's if they come from the inner city of Chicago or from Florida, it's the same kid. When I was dealing with some of these people,
it's heavy.
When I was dealing with some of those kids at the University of Illinois, the Darren Williams, the Luther Head, the Brian Cooks, the Roger Powells, all those people.
But coming to your shop
But they was coming to my shop every week. They all had the same background. Some of them had single moms, some of them had a dad. Roger Powell's dad was a big guy. And he was real, he was hard, and he was a disciplinarian. But once he seen him around shining, he knew he was in good hands, man. But that's the good thing about it. And so what we did for the same, what those athletes have is what our kids in our schools don't have. A lot of them, when it come down to athletes, is because of the fact that they had support. So those athletes had support along the way. You know, when they was in freshmen and everybody seen them, they was going to be a good player and they could dribble good. Then people ran to their rescue. And they said, you're going to be a good athlete. And people poured into them. Same way Johnny with the single mama, but nobody runs to his rescue.
Right.
So once they start building themselves and they have some victories and they get to poke their chest out and they start feeling good about themselves, now they get a chance to go to the University of Illinois in a bigger arena.
Yes, sir.
Now they got more resources.
Yes, sir. Yes,
now they got even more resources to support them and they single mom or that family that's left behind in Joliet like a Roger Powell. They got support. So now dad come up and he see more support for his son. Now he can have a comfortable ride back down to Joliet. Or if you was dealing with any one of these other guys. And then he go around the barbershop and he see, oh man, my son can still get a home-cooked meal.
That's right.
From another surrogate family. But same way with Johnny that's over here bitter, mad, all this. He's not getting a home-cooked meal. Matter of fact, he's homeless. Matter of fact, his sister homeless too. Same guys we know. Not getting no support. So what I've been telling, and I've been telling this community for a long time, stop kicking the ball down the road, man. Everybody need the same support. If you really want the gunfire to stop, the kids got to have the support.
Commercial. Kid we had here last week, right? We sit down at Caribbean Grill, and he said, I don't want to go back to jail. He played for me a few years back. Coach Hub, I don't want to go back to jail. I was in that place and it was horrible. And I ain't really no bad guy, I just made bad decisions. But if you go talk to downtown Urbana, they probably think he a bad guy. But thank God for Darren, I'm sorry, love you, Darren. Marlon Mitchell picked up the phone, called Sean Hampton and Marlon Mitchell, scheduled an appointment with him, took him there, kind of babysitted him the first couple of days. Man, the man put on Facebook, man. He put on Facebook 2 days ago, man, I'm so glad to be a schoolboy again.
Yeah, support.
He glad. He called me last night, said, man, I just need you to motivate me. Can we meet tomorrow?
You gave him
support.
You gave him a
shout out to Marlon Mitchell.
What you guys gave him was a small victory.
Yeah.
Nobody can be successful. Yeah. That's why the University of Illinois, when they first start the season out, they play D2, D3, D4 school.
Yeah.
So they can build themselves up.
Illinois School of the Blind.
Yeah, they build, you gotta get that victory. You gotta run over them guys.
Yes, sir.
Now every now and then, if you ain't got your team together, that scab team might beat you.
Might pop you
straight off. Because you ain't got your stuff together.
Boy, this good, Sean. This good. This gonna bless somebody's soul, man.
What you gotta do, you got to get them guys small victories. Yeah. Get them girls small victories. Get them into a circle.
Now I'm gonna put you on the spot.
Because other than that, right, what'll happen is that you have the blind leading the blind.
Right.
If you do what they say do, kick them out of school. Throw them out of there.
Yeah.
Now you got victims hanging out with victims.
Now I'm gonna throw this little curveball on you. Where's we finna throw a brick, but I know you can handle it but I'm doing this. I'm doing this for you to elaborate.
I can catch.
But you mean to tell me Darren Williams, Luther Head, D. Brown, and all them came to your shop even though the U of I briefed them on don't go north of University?
It's something that they needed. See, it's something that they needed. When the University of Illinois bring you to this climate that they are developing, they're developing you to be this professional. Yeah, it's great institution. But as a culture, you still need some of your culture. And so what them guys were seeking out, even though they was going to do what they was going to do, but them guys were steady developing. And as you develop, you know you need something. And so as they found out through Petey and some other guys, said, the barbershop over there. Matter of fact, we ran into Aries. And Aries turned those stones to the rest of the guys. And then they came over there and they felt,
Aries Davis.
It ain't as bad as they
said. Let me tell you something. Right now in my class yesterday, we talked about, I went live. She cut school short because it was Chinese New Year, and we went over to the student union, and they had the Chinese New Year culture, their food, their dance. But she wanted us to be able to, what's this got to do with education? Because you're going to have kids in your classroom of all different culture, and you can't make them come up to your level. You got to learn their culture and learn what makes them You tough, Sean. You tough, man.
You know what stop us from doing? You know what stop us from doing that? From integrating into something else and learning something new?
Fear.
Fear gonna stop us every rep. Oh, no, don't do that. When Aries was hanging with me, he left my house one day. He left my house one day, and the police didn't even know the dynamics of me talking to his mama, me talking to Coach Davis, me, all of the stuff that was going on behind the scenes, you know what I'm saying? He just knew that I was a Williams. And he stopped him and told him, and why you stop me? I just stopped to tell you, man, you don't need to hang out with them guys. He a Williams. Man, they hurt each other, man. They'll do something to you, man. I'm telling you, man, you need to stay over there.
The police stopped him.
Police stopped him.
Told him, man, don't hang out with that guy.
He said, you know what? I don't hang out with them guys. I hang out with Sean Williams. There's something over here he got I need. There's some love over here he got I need. My mama know he got me. And it helped that young man graduate because he was on the borderline of not graduating. It was the rest of them guys. It was times them U of I guys came, man, when they was down. When they felt, when that institution that got worth billions of dollars couldn't give them what they needed, man.
Sean,
they would come to that shop when 1400 then tore them down. I remember one time, and I might even get to that, but I remember one time, man, Corey Bradford.
CB.
Corey Bradford, man. He was deemed the best shooting guard in the nation, man.
Yes, sir.
Dickie V.
Yeah,
back when Dickie V. Dickie V say your name, man, you own something. Man, Dickie V. And so when Corey Bradford come to the shop, and we listened to 1400, and a guy said, and Corey had a bad game the night before, and the guy said, man, Corey Bradford couldn't throw a rock in the ocean, man. They need to set him down. And then I said, man, Corey, don't worry about that. One of the brothers from the hood who the community would say ain't no good, you look at his paperwork, oh, he ain't no good, throw him away. You know what the guy did? He had compassion because they developed a relationship. He called for it. He said, Sean, what's that number to 1400? I gave him the number. He called. He said, hey, man, y'all need to watch what y'all say because you never know who's listening. Corey's sitting right here with us in the barbershop listening to you, man. These still kids. You got to build them up. But see, all we care about is winning.
That's how we care about is winning.
We don't care about tearing him down where he ain't going to be able to shoot again.
We don't care if you get D's and F's. Just put the ball in the hole.
Ain't that something, man?
We don't care.
Ain't that something, man?
I feel like, I ain't gonna go there.
Ain't that something?
I ain't gonna go there.
You know,
I ain't gonna go
same way.
Be good. Stop it. Be good.
But same way with
James Kinney should be in the NBA.
You know, but same way.
I'm gonna say that.
But same
I ain't
way.
Gonna say nothing
but
else.
same way with like a Jerrance Howard. You know, Jerrance Howard wasn't getting no tick. Good kid, man. Good kid. But the same way that he needed something, man, and he needed something that we had to offer him in the hood that day. Because when them guys got on him about not playing no basketball, not getting no tick, I said right there, I looked at his face. I knew it was hurt because he wasn't getting no tick. Because all we care about is putting up, scoring, winning. But what about life? What about winning in life?
What about life after high school?
What about life after
college?
Life after college? What about life after that? But you know what I told James? I said, don't worry about that, man. You've been about basketball all your life. My mama said it's 2 or 3 ways to skin a cat. Man, you can get that through coaching. What is Jerrance Howard doing right now? With one of the number one teams
and
in
every
the nation.
time he come back, he was coming to your shop.
What you talking about? Every one of them guys. Because we got to be able to see something in when you're nothing. We got to be able to see something.
Reggie Jones told me one time, you got to be able to see around the corner with people.
Man, so when you see a kid, so let me get into this here right here.
Yeah, man, because
you got to be able to see something in the kid. And I'm gonna go right here to Sean Williams. Call it home, okay?
Call it home.
And so when I went to that school board meeting the other night, I had wrote something up. Took me a couple hours to put it together, but it made me reflect on my experience at Urbana. And I want you guys, you administrators, you city folks, you state folks, I want you to really take heed because when you're working with these folks, you working with real lives, man. And so I'm gonna read you a little something that I read to them, and so hopefully it's helpful to you. And I wrote this here, and I said, good evening. My name is Sean Williams. I'm an alumnus of Urbana High School, class of 1987, local business owner, a recent recipient of the Dr. Martin Luther King Outstanding Community Achievement Award, an upcoming recipient of the Schools Foundation Local Business Impact Award, as well as a founding member of the North End Breakfast Club, CCAP, Community Coalition, Station Adjustment Program, Walk as One program, and the CU Fresh Start, as well as many other proactive movements to help our Champaign-Urbana communities, most at-risk citizens, prevail. tonight I want to give you this backdrop that didn't start with all these accolades. As most of you know, I come from a pretty large family with a strong and courageous single mom who had limited resources, education, and employment. She had strong family values, God-spirit, and determination to survive while raising her family. See, I got to tell you folks on this viewing audience tonight, that board, administrators, teachers, and residents, this story. So bear with me. See, over the years, I attended these meetings, listened to this rhetoric from media, social groups, educators, police, and politicians, as many others, that initially determined that this troubling population of young men and women are unsalvageable. Let me tell you tonight, one of these young men, I am one of these young men. I attended Prairie School in the 3rd grade when a white teacher told me, little white boys don't call each other the N-word. Only little black boys do that. At that time, I didn't understand. I just acted out, became the class clown, and was identified with words that I did not know the meaning of, like insubordinate. In the 11th grade at Urbana High School, one afternoon, a principal told me, Sean, you'll never be anything. You'll be dead or in jail. I left school again, traumatized. I went back home to West Urbana, or East Champaign, as you'll call it, to just realize my environment reflected this dismal future. While the people that were getting paid to protect me were the same people who were attacking me. Not one of them sat me down to find out what was wrong. Not one of them sat me down to find out the root that was causing my troubling impatience to learn. Not one asked me what was bothering me. Not one person tried to find out that the part of my trauma started at 6 years old. Me and my siblings witnessed my oldest brother commit suicide at the age of 18. Man, at that time, my life was at a midnight hour. Embarrassed to even say help. But I thank God for my mom, Miss Essie, Ducky, a hall monitor in Urbana, Miss Utley, a simple secretary, Grace Wingfield, and Miss Matthews, dynamic social workers at Urbana High School, who were overworked and underpaid, that understood that a huge part of their pay was seeing kids like me be successful and be that surrogate parent while my mom worked. Thank God for CC Jackie at the Boys Club. Thank God for Nate, Big Mike, and Miss Yarber at the Douglas Center. I thank God for my big brother Joe, who paved the way and would detox me every afternoon after school and tell me, Sean, treat yourself special, because no one else will. He and my sister Sheila led the way for me to follow their footsteps to join the Army. I learned in Army leadership class, when you are in charge, you are responsible for what happens or fails to happen on your watch. Tonight, what me and the rest of the world seen on yesterday's nightly news happened on your watch. Teacher knocked unconscious, hall monitors overwhelmed, while onlooking students horrified. Today was the first day I've walked in the halls and talked to administrators and students at Urbana High School since graduation because of the trauma I received in Urbana schools over 40 years ago. For many years, I've diligently worked with the city of Champaign, Champaign schools, police department, and residents to make a difference because of the unbearable needs I seen around my barbershop. But last night when I made the calls and talked to parents and went to the schools today, I learned this board operating in a culture that's unwilling to bring in bright solutions. People across the Wright Street in Unit 4. Unit 4 understands that the students in today's society need an all-hands-on-deck approach. Unit 4 has current data and tested positive program in the lives of family students on the other side of Wright Streets. I'm alarmed and disappointed to realize you all are operating in the same old spirit of that old teacher, unwilling to try new creative ideas, unwilling to spend money on positive improving in-house mentorship programs or be productive body of this community coalition regular meetings. Why not? Your mayor's in the community coalition meetings. Your police chiefs are at the community coalition meetings. Your state reps are at the community coalition meetings. I understand that it's many reasons why this population of kids are underachieving and acting out. But remember, one day, these kids will be a 49-year-old me. What will they say at a future school board meeting about you and your schools during your watch or on their watch? So, you know, I wrote that, and it got a whole different working parts of it. And I wrote that because of the fact that
it said a lot, man.
Man, because it's painful for me, in even me going back over to Urbana High School, because man, folks will count you out because of your demographics, your race, your affiliations, just even the neighborhood you from. You know, yeah, I wasn't great and I wasn't great. I wasn't the one that they picked on the basketball team to be the captain of the team or none of those other things. Yeah, I wasn't great in algebra over there with Miss Polly Washington and all that type of stuff. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But still, I count. Yeah. Still, I matter. Yeah. Look, and then look at what. Yeah. All these accolades that they celebrate me now because of this and this and this and that and this and that. Yeah. But at the same time, I know my net worth, man. Yeah. And I know who in charge. Yeah. And it ain't them folks that's at the board that's in charge.
One of the things that you said and it brought more frustration back, and I've been talking about this for about 6 months, but I done chilled. But man, you named Big Mike.
Oh yeah, man.
You know.
Oh yeah, man.
CC, Jackie Vanna, you know, those were guys, strong African American males at the Boys and Girls Club and at Douglas Center. I mean, right now we got a Caucasian woman running Douglas Center, and we don't understand why the community is in as is. And it's nothing personal about her. I don't even know her, but I know my town. And I know what it takes.
Let me tell you something, man. We done dropped the ball on so many elements in so many areas of this community, man.
You always say that.
We've dropped the ball. Yeah. I mean, you know, I was when John Lee was trying to create North First Street, was trying to create that whole element with Jackson's and new barbershop of Rose and Taylor's, the Masonic Lounge and redeveloping buddies and all that. But John Lee understood that we needed a social life.
Yes. Yes.
And we needed our own and all that type of stuff. Yeah. So John Lee fought and fought and fought and fought and fought. To now we have nothing, man. We don't have any of those some of those things that he helped develop down there. And so when I listened to the ministers, when I was listening to Mr. Pirtle's 1580 right next door, and I listened to some ministers get on there, and John Lee was fighting down there at the council meetings trying to get this approved, you know. And I listened to it, and that man said, man, they don't need no another club. They need church. Yeah, we do need church. We do need to have core values. We do need to have some godliness with us. But we got to have some type of social life also. It's a bunch of things that develop a man. It's a bunch of things that develop young folk. And if you find a community that have no social life, you'll find a community that look like ours.
Sean, we don't even own a gym where our community kids and go to and fro whenever, without asking Mother May I.
Man.
You know what I'm saying? And so I don't know what was different about the park, because the park district have always owned Douglas.
Let me tell you what we had, Hub.
Okay.
We had love. That was it. Love. That means you had the open door policy because I got love for you. I looked at you like you was my son. You was my grandson. You was my nephew. When we was going to school and we went to the U of I, I wasn't the best on the team. Yeah. But when Hershey and them said, hey, man, look, where we going to meet at, we going to meet at the U of I, and we going to play on the U of I field. Yeah. Yeah. We go right over there to the U of I field, right there where the main stage and everybody played. Yeah. And you know what? And we would play a game. We would meet some of the guys from Central or Centennial, and we'll pick our teams, and we would play football right over there at the University of Illinois main field. Yeah. And you know what some of the guys that was out there cleaning up and picking up paper or janitors, cheering us on. They ain't say, you kids can't be out here. You need to get away from here.
Huff Gym and Old Man Gym, I think it's called Ken. That was our second home.
Come on, man. Them guys over there looked out for us, man. While WS and Big Roy and all them guys lifted weights in there to just be a lookout for the rest of the guys in there. We went over there and we played.
That was our second home, man. And my brother played for University High School, Uni High. So we had when they played, we couldn't go in there. You know what I'm saying? Because Uni High was playing that day. But other than that, we could go in there and hoop, and that was our safe haven. You know what that was? Because we still had access to Douglas Center. One of the most powerful things I do for my kids in Ada, and one of the reasons they do get up at 6 a.m. and meet me at 7, because, boy, we're going to get some exposure. We're going to spend some money. We're going to games. We're going to Share Aquarium. You're going to know what the alma mater is. You know what I'm saying? Last graduation, I'm Ubering, and it's 200 people in line waiting to take from Asia and all overseas, waiting to take a picture with the alma mater. And Pro Ray don't even know it exists and live 5 minutes from it. But that, see, Old Man Gym, the football field, Huff Gym, that gave her, we were able to see. We were able to see life outside of the North End. You know, and that wasn't nothing for me because my mama kept me at Credit. You know, I kept me at Abandoned Library. But I understand everybody didn't have no mama like me. And especially right now, they ain't going to no libraries, they ain't going to Credit. We went to Credit every month, man. I had a seat at Credit.
You know what, Hub? Let me tell you what the Champaign-Urbana community is doing, and a lot of communities across this country are doing. They're throwing our folks away, and by the time our folks are getting on the right track, they 40 years old, man. When you don't see value in folks, you can throw them away.
What you say died this time and then?
Oh, they died at 16, 17, 18 years old, man. But they just don't get buried till you're 70.
Good God Almighty.
And you just and what you're doing, you're throwing them away. You're putting them in the holding tank already. Alternative schooling is what y'all call it.
Yeah.
I call it a holding tank.
Yeah.
Because you're only there just to make sure that they stay put so you can get this money. But you didn't throw them away.
You know what I love about you and me? We've worked hard, military and all that, man. Because a lot of people know what we're saying is true, but they can't say it. They can't say it.
But it's time out for that.
Yeah. No, they can't say it. Now, let me say this. Because they got to go to work in the morning.
I understand that.
And they got to feed their family.
Let me tell you
and
something.
I honor that.
Let me tell you something. And the reason why I say it's time out for that, because the ones that don't got a voice won't even support, they'll start hating. Because they can't got their voice, they won't support, they'll start hating. They'll start chipping at me and you, trying to pull us apart so we can't build nobody up. We got to be able to build the next person up. Same thing that we was doing, I was doing for them U of I guys and them other guys in the hood. The same thing that when them guys came back from prison and them guys, they knew that we had prayer down in my barber shop at 6 o'clock every evening after meal died. And they say, Sean, are you gonna have prayer?
Yeah.
And we had prayer.
Let me give you this.
They saw some value.
God just downloaded this in my spirit, and I always wondered, how was they, BOT was so powerful. How was they able to divide? Lord, why did you let them divide us? Because he had around 2. See, it's going to be hard to divide. It's next to possible because we already know how valuable that it was.
When it's already ordained, it's already ordained. Hey, man, I appreciate everybody that tuned in to us, man. Stay tuned. We got more to come, man. Appreciate you guys in the back scenes, Ethan, man. I really appreciate that. My brother Hub, it's been real once again. It's funny when how time flies when you're having fun. Thank y'all, man, for watching another episode of Let the Truth Be Told.